Hello everyone, in this program I will be talking about French Marxist philosopher Louis Althusser's views regarding how ideology works to maintain capitalist order and how dominant ideology affects the way we think about the world and our place and role in society. In Marxist tradition, the state is a machine of repression. It enables the ruling classes to ensure their domination over the working class. Althusser points to some obvious forms of social control and the social agencies and institutions that maintain control. The government, the military, the police, the courts, and prison. They all constitute a repressive state apparatus and ensure the continuity of the dominant ideology. Repressive state apparatus functions by physical force or violence. We can call it hard power. According to Althusser, ideology is also maintained by less obvious forms of social control, which he calls ideological state apparatuses. We can think of them as soft power. They reproduce ideology in such a way that we think capitalism is natural, inevitable, and desirable. They strengthen the power of the politically and economically powerful. While there is one repressive state apparatus, there is a plurality of ideological state apparatuses. Repressive state apparatus belongs entirely to the public domain. Ideological state apparatuses are part of the private domain. Some examples of the ideological state apparatuses: the family, the educational system, the church, the political systems, the political parties, the mass media, and cultural apparatuses such as literature, sports, arts. Ideological messages are carried through them. Let me share a few examples by referring to some authors. The first example is from a book by Chris Barker. In his book Cultural Studies, Barker explains ideological state apparatuses by referring to schools, colleges, and universities. He writes that through education, the ideology of the ruling classes is transmitted and capitalism is justified and legitimized. Ideology also reproduces the attitudes and behavior required by major class groups within the division of labor. Ideology teaches workers to accept and submit to their own exploitation, while it teaches managers and administrators to manipulate and exploit the workers on behalf of the dominant class. Another example is mass media as an ideological state apparatus. Mass media provide us with views of the economically and politically powerful. Think about the game shows on television and movies. According to Paul Long and Tim Wall, game shows encourage individual acquisition of wealth, and movies support heroism and celebrity. As Burton writes in his book Media and Society, media can reproduce certain kinds of social relations, and then media consumers see themselves in those relations, and they see the ideology behind those relations as being acceptable, and they go along with it. I would like to emphasize that for Althusser, ideology transforms the individual into a subject. In Althusser's own words, all ideology hails or interpellates concrete individuals as concrete subjects. His famous example on this is a policeman calling out in the street, "Hey, you there!" When an individual hears this, he immediately responds to being addressed. He turns around, believing, suspecting, knowing that it is for him. Here we see the individual being positioned within a system of values and ideas. He knows his place and how he should respond and act in the world. You can also think about some magazines such as 17, GQ, Men's Health. They all position individuals within a system of values and ideas. According to Paul Long and Tim Wall, these can be good examples of how ideology works in our consciousness and how ideology interpolates individuals as subjects. All these examples also show that for Althusser, ideology is not just a set of ideas. Ideology has a material existence. It exists in an apparatus and in its associated practices, and in the material actions of a subject, as in the example of interpellation. In this video, I briefly talked about Althusser's views regarding how ideology has a role to play in social formations and how capitalist ideology is reproduced, maintained, and promoted, not only through repressive state apparatus, but also by ideological state apparatuses. I have also given examples of how some of these apparatuses work. Please keep thinking about how other kinds of apparatuses may work and what they might tell us about power relationships between different groups in today's world. Thank you for watching.